of relief for your team? I mean, you're looking forward to this sort of change, and what do you think it'll bring that could be?
Yeah, I mean, after a rough, tough, 6 to 8 months, we needed that victory, and that gives us a lot of confidence, going forward. As a young team, it was a great performance, especially after the first days of play. Thought we were disappointing with our bat in the first day, but credit should go to this young man here who batted brilliantly to get his maiden test century against a very strong Australian team. And Dhananjay De Silva contributed with his bat and ball. Chandimal, when needed, he got a few runs for us, and it was a collective effort by these batsmen. I mean, we had to rally around him. He was batting the best out of the lot, and we needed a 200 plus lead on that wicket. The wicket was assisting the spinners, and it was a great relief. Rangana Herath once again proved his brilliance. And also Sandakan, coming into his first game, it was a brilliant effort by him. So it was, overall very pleasing effort, and we are humbled by the victory, but still a long way to go in the series.
Angelo, do you remember where you were in 1999 when Sri Lanka last won a Test match against Australia?
Well, I was, just told that about it after 17 years. It's very pleasing to hear that we've beaten Australia, and it was a the credit should go to the whole team, the way they fought, the way they showed their character against a very strong Australian team. Whether it's home or away, we had to play our best cricket to beat the Aussies, and we did. Especially after the first days of play, we had to come back really hard and strong, and we did that. So it was. Yeah, it is very pleasing to hear that we won off 16 years.
And just in terms of Rangana and Sandakan, do you think those guys as two bowlers are quite complementary? Like they ask different questions to the batsmen, which can make it, they're getting wickets for each other as well as for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when Rangana is bowling, he's attacking, and also he contains. He holds one end together, and we needed someone like Sandakan, and Dilruwan unfortunately didn't bowl that well in the game, but it was very pleasing to see Sandakan bowling his googlies, and also the batsmen were finding it really tough to face him on this wicket.
Actually, can you remember the last time when Sri Lanka beat Australia in 1999, and apparently for the next match that Rangana made his debut in Galle? Can you remember the last time what way would be doing?
Not really. I honestly can't remember. In 1999, I was just a little kid, but I'm sure that I watched bits and pieces, but I can't really remember the game. But Rangana, it's nice to hear that he played his debut after 1999, that victory, and also he's contributed towards this victory in a massive way.
Right. Angelo, at 161 the scoreboard was not moving. There were 22 consecutive maiden overs. During that stage, how frustrating was it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Steve O'Keefe and Peter Neville batted really well, and they made us work extremely hard for the wicket, and we had to just keep attacking and keep bowling and be patient. I mean, well, obviously we were a bit worried about the weather as well, but fortunately the weather gods didn't prevent us winning. And we just had to do our basics right. Rangana was bowling brilliantly right throughout the match, and Sandakan was bowling brilliantly. I mean, we were very hungry to take those couple of wickets, and we eventually did. I'm very pleased.
You're obviously 7th in Test rankings. How important is it for you to win the series and work that ranking?
Yeah, it is very important. I think this is a very good opportunity for us. I mean, we'll try and enjoy the victory today and get back to work from next day. I mean, we have to it's still a long way, as I said before, it's still a long way to go in the series. They will come back really hard, and we have to play our best cricket once again in Galle to try and seal the series. So we'll try and enjoy the series, and rankings, I'm not too worried about the rankings as long as we do our processes right, and we go out there and do our very best and keep improving. I'm not really worried about the rankings.
Angelo, you sat here a few days ago being very low-key about your prospects, and now you're sitting here as the winning captain. How unexpected was that turnaround?
We knew, I mean, if we played to our potential that we could beat the Australians. I mean, even though, it's very pleasing to beat the number one team in the world and especially at home. I mean, it's not going to be easy. As I said, the Aussies have performed extremely well in the recent past. They are in very good form. They've got some really good, good players. They've got a very good balance in the team. So, as I said, we had to play really good cricket, and it is very pleasing to beat the Australians in the very first game and go into the second one.
Actually, from the first test against New Zealand and up to the third test against England, and there were not many people were willing to put their money on Sri Lankans. But after this win, how what the feeling in the dressing room and how it looks like?
Yeah, the atmosphere in the dressing room has changed a lot. I mean, even though we lost in the past, in the recent past, we've not given up. We've always had hopes. We've always helped each other. I mean, every team goes through this transitional period, and once you click, you can go a long way. And that's what we believed in. That's what we kept, helping the players, helping the youngsters. Even the youngsters throw in their ideas, and it was a collective effort by the whole team.
I think that within the turnaround came with this young man.
Absolutely. I mean, the way he batted, I mean, especially playing his first test against Australia and a very strong bowling lineup. I mean, the way he batted, he showed a lot of class, a lot of temperament, and it was not easy to bat on that wicket. I mean, it was turning rapid, and their bowlers were bowling well and fast as well. And the way he looked, he made batting look so easy. And most of us were struggling to get runs, and he made it so easy. And the way he batted, I'm very excited for the future.
මට සතුටුයි මොකද ටීම් එකත් මම ගහපු වෙලාවේ ටීම් එක ජයග්‍රහණය කිරීම කොට සතුටු වෙනවා මොකද මට කලින් මැච් වලත් මට ඒ කියන්නේ මැච් ඉතුරු කලින් ගහපු මැච් 6ත් මට ටීම් එකේ මාත්‍රේ ගොඩක් හිටියා ඒ කියන්නේ ටීම් එකේ මට ගොඩක් උදව් කරා ඒ කියන්නේ මම මුලින් ආපුවම උනා මට කියලා දුන්නා කොහොමද සෙල්ලම් කරන්නේ ටීම් එකත් එක්ක කොහොමද ඉන්නේ මම ඒ කියන්නේ මගේ රෝල් එක මොකද්ද ඒ හැමදේම මට කිව්වා ඉතින් මට මේ ටීම් එකේ සපෝට් එක තිබ්බ හින්දා තමයි ටීම් එකත් එක්ක ගොඩක් මට හිටියපු හින්දා තමයි මේ අද මේ තරඟෙදි මට හොඳින් කරගන්න පුළුවන් වුණා.
ඔයාගේ ටෙස්ට් සහ දින තරඟ ඒ කියන්නේ පහුගිය වෙස්ට් ඉන්ඩීස් ටීම් එකත් එක්ක තමයි පළවෙනි ටෙස්ට් තරඟයට එන්නේ. ඒකෙන් ඉඳලා මෙතන වෙනකන් දිහා බැලුවාම ඔයා හැමදාම ඔය ලකුණු සංඛ්‍යාව ඉස්සරහට ගෙනහිලා තියෙනවා. ඔයා කොහොමද මේක ඇති කරගත්තේ?
ටීම් එකේ කියන්නේ ඇන්ජලෝ වුණත් කැප්ටන් වුණත් වයිස් කැප්ටන් කෝච් හැම මට කියන්නේ මට කිව්වේ මගේ ගේම් එක සෙල්ලම් කරන්න කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ මගේ මොනවාක්වත් වෙනස් කරන්න ගියේ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ මට මම අඩුවෙන් රන්ස් ගැහුවත් මට කිව්වේ ඒවා ගහන විතර සෙල්ලම් කරන්න මුකුත් හදන්න යන්න එපා. මට ඒ කියන්නේ මගේ ඔළුවට හැම විශ්ම දැම්මේ පුළුවන් කියන දේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මම අඩුවෙන් ගැහුවා මට කිව්වේ ඔයාට පුළුවන් මේ දේ කරන්න. ඉතින් මට ඒක ගොඩක් හයියක් වුණා මේ ටීම් එකේ මට කියන්නේ මම පොඩි කෙනෙක් ආපු අලුත මට ඒ වගේ මේ කියලා දුන්න එකේ මට ලොකු දෙයක් කරන්න පුළුවන් වුණා.
මහනුවර පල්ලේකල ක්‍රීඩාංගණය ඔබට සුවිශේෂයි. ඔබ මොකක්ද ඒක හිතන්නේ මේ වගේ දර්ශන දක්වන මොකක්ද මෙතන සුවිශේෂයක්?
ඔව් මගේ ෆස්ට් ක්ලාස් පළවෙනි 100ත් මේකෙමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් මම මුලින්ම ට්‍රයැන්ගුලර් කියලා ගැහුවෙත් මේකේ. ඒ කියන්නේ නැෂනල් ටීම් එකයි ඒ ටීම් එකේ ඩෙවලොප්මන්ට් එකේ මාව ඒකට දැම්ම ශ්‍රී ලංකන් වන් ඩේ ටූර්නමන්ට් එකකට. ඉතින් මම සතුටු වෙනවා මට මේ ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එකේම මගේ පළවෙනි 100 ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් එච් එක.
ඔබ මේ තරම් ඉහළ ලකුණු පාඩියද කිසිදු පීඩනයක් ඔබට දැනුනේ නැද්ද?
ඒ වෙලාවේ ඉතින් මැද මුල් විකට් දෙකක් තුනක් ගියාම ටිකක් තිබ්බා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට ටාගට් එකක් තිබ්බා ලකුණු 80ක විතර. ඉතින් මම ඒ ගැන ගොඩක් හිතුවේ නැහැ. මම නෝමල් බැට් කරන දේ බැට් කරේ. ඒ මැදට ආපු චන්තිය ඇන්ජලෝ වුණත් ඒ කියන්නේ බැට් කරද්දි ගොඩක් කිව්වා මේ දේ කරමු අපි එක සිංගල් ලෙවල් කරමු මෙහෙම කියලා හැමෝම බැට් කරපු අය කියන්නේ මට ගොඩක් උදව් කරා. ඒ කියන්නේ හැමෝම කතා වෙලා අපි ප්ලෑන් එකකට සෙල්ලම් කරේ. ඉතින් මම හිතනවා අපි මේ දේ හොඳින් කරා කියලා.
සිංහලෙන් විශිෂ්ට ජයග්‍රහණයක් ලබා ගැනීමට කොහොමද ඔබ මේ අභියෝගයට මේ ආකාර සාර්ථක වුණේ?
ඔව් මම හිතන්නේ අපි පළවෙනි දවසේ ගත්තොත් හොඳට ක්‍රීඩා කරේ නැහැ කියලා අපි කණ්ඩායමම පසුතැවුණා හුඟක්. ඒ වගේම අපි දැනගෙන හිටියා මේ කඩුල්ල ඒ තරම්ම ලේසි නැහැ කියලා පන්දුවට පහර දෙන්න. ඉතින් අපි හොඳට බෝල් කරොත් ඔවුන්වත් ඒ කියන්නේ සෑහෙන අඩු ප්‍රමාණයකට තියාගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා විශ්වාස කරා. ඒ වගේම සෙකන්ඩ් ඉනින්ස් එකට ආපුවම අපි හැමෝම කතා වුණා අපි ප්ලෑන් එකකට ගියා. අපි දැනගත්තා ඒ බෝලර්ස්ලාට කොහොමද අපි ක්‍රීඩා කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඉතින් අපි සෙකන්ඩ් ඉනින්ස් එකේ හුඟක්ම ලොකු එෆර්ට් එකක් දාලා හොඳ ලකුණු ප්‍රමාණයක් රැස් කරගන්න තමයි මේ ප්ලෑන් එක තිබුණේ. මම හිතන්නේ සාර්ථක වුණා හුඟක්ම. මම හිතන්නේ කුසල් මෙන්ඩිස් ඉතාමත් හොඳට ක්‍රීඩා කරා. ඌගේ වටේ අනිත් අය ක්‍රීඩා කළා. චන්දිමාල්, ධනංජය ඩිසිල්වා, රංගන හේරත් අමතක කරන්න බෑ. සියලුම මැද පෙළ පිතිකරුවන් තා අන්තිම පිතිකරුවන් ඉතාමත් හොඳට ක්‍රීඩා කළා. මම හිතන්නේ ඒ කලෙක්ටිව් එෆර්ට් එකෙන් තමයි මම හිතන්නේ එච්චර හොඳ ටෝටල් එකක් ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් උනේ.
ඒ වගේ අතරම කියන කුසල් විශේෂ ජයයට දක්ෂකම් පෙන්නවා. ඉතින් කුසල් මේ ආකාරයෙන් දක්ෂකම් පෙන්වීමත් අනිත් ක්‍රීඩකයන් ඊතරම් ලකුණු අතර නොපෙනීමත් කොයි ආකාරයෙන් දකින්නේ?
ඔව් අපි දන්නා මම දැන් කුසල් ඉතාමත් දක්ෂ ක්‍රීඩකයෙක්. ඒ වගේම අනිත් ක්‍රීඩකයන් උත් දක්ෂයි. නමුත් අපේ හැමදෙස්සෙම කණ්ඩායමේ ප්ලෑන් එක වෙලා තිබුණේ ඒදා දවසේ හැමෝම ක්‍රීඩා කරන්නේ නැහැ හොඳට. එදා දවසේ ක්‍රීඩා කරන එක්කෙනා ලොකු ඉනිමක් ලබා ගත යුතුයි කණ්ඩායම හොඳ තත්යකට ගේන්න නම්. ඉතින් අපේ කවුද සෙට් වෙන්නේ ලකුණු 30ක් 40ක් ගාලා විකට් එක විසි කරන්නේ නැතුව මම හිතන්නේ කුතල් කර දේ තමයි හරි. එයාගේ වටේ අනිත් අය ඔක්කොම ලකුණු රැස් කරා. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ එක්කෙනෙක් පළවෙනි 4 දෙනාගෙන් එක්කෙනෙක් පළවෙනි 4 5 දෙනාගෙන් එක්කෙනෙක් ලොකු ශතකයක් ලබා ගත්තොත් මම හිතන්නේ ඉතාමත් ලේසියෙන් 300 350ක් ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් මේ තන්තිලිවල.
ඒ වගේම වේග පන්දු වලට දඟපන් යවන්න තමයි විශේෂයෙන් භාවිත කරේ. ඒක නමට අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ.
මම හිතන්නේ ඕස්ට්‍රේලියානු වගේ කණ්ඩායමක් වේද පන්දු යවන්නන්න ඉතාමත් හොඳට ක්‍රීඩා කරනවා. ඒ වගේම අපේ කන්ඩිෂන්ස් වල අපේ පන්දු යවන්නන් ගත්තොත් මම හිතන්නේ දඟ පන්දු යවන්නන් තමයි හුඟක්ම දස්කම් දක්කලා තින්නෙත් මෑත කාලේදී. ඉතින් අපි බැලුවේ අපේ විශේෂයෙන් සුරංග ලක්මාල් ඉන්ජර් වුණාන් පස්සේ තමයි අපි තීරණය කළේ සඳකැන්ව කණ්ඩායමට ගේන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඉතින් ඒකත් අපිට හොඳකට තමයි හිතුනේ. ඉතින් මම විශ්වාස කරනවා අපිට අපේ දඟපන්දු යවන්න ඉතාමත් හොඳ දඟපන්දු යවන්න. ඉතින් අපිට කඩලු රැස් කරගන්න මම හිතන්නේ වේග පන්දු යවන්නන්ට වඩා මේ කන්ඩිෂන් දඟපන්දු යවන්නන්ට තමයි සූට් වෙන්නේ කියලා.
Suranga's injury, would you consider it a blessing in disguise?
Yeah, I mean, it was a blessing in disguise. After the looking back at the test match, we would have maybe we didn't decide till the day of the test match to play Sandakan or Suranga. It was either of them. So it was a blessing in disguise. Looking back at the test match, Sandakan bowled extremely well. Dilruwan was a bit offline and he didn't bowl his best, but I'm sure that he'll come good in the next game.
How disappointing and frustrating has been the last 7 to 8 months, Angelo?
Yeah, I mean, it was very disappointing, and we as a team had a lot of stick to absorb. But I think it's part and parcel of the game. When we do well, we get praised. When we do badly, we get a bit of stick. So that comes with the game. I think we as players need to understand that, and also we've prepared extremely well. The support staff, the coaches worked extremely hard, and we should thank the ground staff as well, the head curator, for giving their fullest support. I mean, it was not easy. Right throughout the 5 days, it was rain. They had to pull the covers on and off all the time, and they had to cover the whole ground. So it was a lot of work. So we thank all of them.
Angelo, පසුගිය වසර වගේ කාලයක ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායම පසුබෑමක සිටියේ ටෙස්ට් තරඟ ජයග්‍රහණයක් නැතිව බොහෝ කාලයකට පස්සේ තරඟ ජයග්‍රහණය ලැබුණේ. ඒ වගේම ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාවත් එක්ක ලැබුණ දෙවෙනි ජය අවුරුදු 8කට පස්සේ කොහොමද ඒක පැහැදිලි කරන්නේ? ක්‍රිකට් ක්‍රීඩාවෙන් ගොඩක් ක්‍රීඩා ලෝලින් ඈත් වෙමින් සිටි කාලයක මේ වගේ ජයග්‍රහණ ලබන්නේ.
ඔව් අපි කණ්ඩායමක් වශයෙන් මම හිතන්නේ අපි පහුගිය මාස 6-8 තුලදී හොඳට කරේ නැහැ. අපි ඒක දන්නවා. අපි සමහර වෙලාවට මම හිතන්නේ ක්‍රීඩා ලෝලින් උත් අපෙන් ඈත් වෙන තත්ත්වයක තිබුණා. ඉතින් අපි ක්‍රීඩකයන් වශයෙන් ඒක අපිට තේරෙනවා. මොකද අපි හොඳට තරඟ කරනකොට ඒ හැමෝම අපිට ආදරේ. නමුත් අපි තරඟ පරදින කොටත් ඒ අය අපිට ආදරේ. නමුත් ඒ අයටත් යම්කිසි දුකක් ඇති වෙනවා. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ ලොකු කළ හොඳම දේ තමයි මේ තරඟයේ ජයග්‍රහණය කළ එක ක්‍රීඩා ලෝලින්ට. මම හිතන්නේ අපි හැමෝම හැමතිස්සෙම විශ්වාස කරනවා. ඒ වගේම අපි උත්සාහ කරනවා සෑම තරඟයක්ම ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න. සමහර අවස්ථාවලදී යම් හේතුයින්ද පරාජයන් වලට ලක් වෙනවා. නමුත් මම හිතන්නේ මේක හොඳ අත්දැකීමක් අපේ කණ්ඩායමට. ඒ වගේම ක්‍රීඩා ලෝලින්ට. මොකද අපි ඒවා මම හිතන්නේ අපි ඒ කියන්නේ අතාරින්න නැතුව දිගටම අපිත් එක්ක හිටපු අයට අපිට සෑහෙන සන්තෝෂය වගේම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. මොකද ඒ සපෝට් එක හුඟක් වටිනවා අපිට. ඉතින් අපි සියලුම දෙනාට ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා ඒ සපෝට් එකට.
Lastly, Damika track.
Work together with Kusal Mendis, Lanka,
ඔව් මම හිතන්නේ අපි පහුගිය මාස කීපය තුළදී මම හිතන්නේ හුඟක් දක්ෂ ලාබාල ක්‍රීඩකයන්ව කණ්ඩායමට ගෙනාව. නමුත් මම හිතන්නේ දැන් තමයි අපි පහුගිය දවස්වල ටිකක් ගුටි කෑවට මම හිතන්නේ දැන් අපි මම හිතන්නේ ඉස්සරහට යනකොට ඒ කොන්ෆිඩන්ස් එක මම හිතන්නේ කුසල් මෙන්ඩිස් සෑහෙන කොන්ෆිඩන්ස් එකක් එන්න ඕනේ. ඒ ලකුණු 175 ඊටමත් හොඳ කණ්ඩායමක් තමක ලබා ගත්තට ඒ වගේම සඳකයන් කඩලු මම හිතන්නේ 7ක් ලබා ගත්තා මේ තරඟයේදී ඊටමත් හොඳට පන්දු යවල ඒ කොන්ෆිඩන්ස් එක සෑහෙන වටිනා උන්ට ඉදිරියට යන්න. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ ඒ කොන්ෆිඩන්ස් එක මම හිතන්නේ තරඟයක් දෙකක් පරාජය වුණාට අපි ඒ කට්ටියත් එක්ක දිගින් දිගටම යන්න ඕනේ මේ කණ්ඩායම හදා ගන්න නම්.
Angelo, when Kusal made his test debut, he had just less than a handful of first-class matches behind him. What convinced you all that he was good enough for Test cricket, and how do you feel about him?
Yeah, the way, after, but especially after he got that 150, when he went on the Indian tour with the development team, I think the selectors, picked him up, and they said that this guy is really good. I haven't seen him much, to be honest, but once we went to New Zealand, I thought he was pretty, special as well. The way he batted, the way he handled himself, top of the order. It was a couple of tough tours for him as a youngster, going into New Zealand and England when it's seeming around, and the way he batted and the way he showed his, character, I thought he was pretty, special. And I mean, you don't have to have a lot of experience. You need some experience in the first class circuit, but there can be exceptionals like him to walk into the, international scene and start performing.
Last question.
මේ තරඟයේ මම හිතන්නේ අපි කුසල් මෙන්ඩිස් ධනංජය චන්දිමාල් රංගන හේරත් ගත්තොත් අනිත් සියලුම දෙනාම අසාර්ථකයි. මම හිතන්නේ ආරම්භක පිතිකර යුගලය සෑහෙන වටිනවා අපිට. මොකද බෝලේ ස්විං වෙනකොට ඔවුන්ගේ පන්දු යවන්න විශේෂයෙන් වේග පන්දු යවන්න ඉතාමත් හොඳට පන්දු යවනවා ඒ අලුත් පන්දුවෙන්. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ අපි ඉස්සරහට යනකොට සිලෙක්ටර්ස්ත් එක්ක කතා කරනවා. අපි පුළුවන් තරම් අවස්ථාව දෙනවා. අපි පුළුවන් තරම් ඒ කණ්ඩායමත් සමග ඉන්න බලනවා. නමුත් අවශ්‍ය වුණොත් ඒ වෙනස්කම් සිදු කරන්නත් අපි ලෑස්තියි.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
I thought we bowled pretty well the first innings to get him out for 117. I thought that was a pretty good effort. I think in our batting, we lacked a little bit of discipline in our first innings. I thought we were in a good position to get a much bigger lead than 86. So we didn't push on as much there as we would have liked. Then I guess to the third innings of the match, I thought we didn't do a great deal wrong. I thought Kusal Mendis played an exceptional innings to score 176, and I guess that sort of took the game away from us. I think from our point of view, it was disappointing to lose Stephen O'Keefe in the 49th over. He was looking very ominous out there at every stage and looked like he was going to take lots of wickets. So I guess from that aspect, it was tough losing him. But having said that, we still have to find ways to get the team out, and we weren't able to do that. And 267, obviously, on a day 4 and 5 wicket against quality spinners is going to be a tough task, and we weren't up to it.
I think that's 7 Test matches in a row in Asia that the Australian cricket team's lost. Came here, had plenty of preparation and all of that. What needs to be added to you guys' games to break that drought?
I think with the batters, probably a bit of discipline. I was really proud of the way Peter Neville and Stephen O'Keefe fought hard there at the end. It wasn't easy. Some balls were skidding, some were spinning, so it was difficult, but they found a way to get through it. And if they were running, if Stephen was able to run, we would have been able to score a few runs there as well. So I think from the batter's point of view, it's about finding a way again to be successful in these conditions. I think we let the spinners into the game a lot more than they probably should have. I think Rangana got majority of his wickets on the inside of our bats, the right-handers, and obviously the outside of the left-handers' bats. So we've got to find a way to play that a lot better in goal.
What was the thinking behind once Steve came into bat? David and him, they were just playing down the maiden overs, so sort of took him up the chase.
Yeah, well, Steve couldn't run. He's got a hamstring injury. So yeah, it was about trying to stick it out for as long as possible. And I guess if you go by the last 4 days, the rain's come at about tea every day. So it was about trying to stick it out for as long as we can, and yeah, try and get out a draw.
So Steve, you're saying that you maybe in goal hold back with the aggression and try to make Harath and Sandokan bowls some long spells, some sort of big overs?
I think it's about each individual having a game plan that can work. It's everyone's different the way they play. It's just finding a way that works for each individual. Some it might be being a little bit more aggressive. Others it might be sitting on the crease and using their bat out in front. But we just have to find a way.
Steve, what are your thoughts on Steve O'Keefe with that injury after he's taken so long to break into the side?
Yeah, he's pretty shattered, to be honest with you, and I thought he was doing an exceptional job. He's almost the perfect sort of bowler for these conditions. I think he actually bowls quite similar to Rangana Harath. Hits the stumps, bowls with that sort of cross seam. Some balls skid, some balls spin. So he was doing a terrific job, and I'm shattered for him as well.
Steve, your shot in the first innings, was that right intent, wrong execution, or
I think I generally play spinners quite aggressively, and I think I've hit that ball for 4 or 6 several times throughout my career. I guess for me, it's obviously, again, I got beaten on the inside of the bat, so it's just summing it up and making sure I play with a straighter bat if I'm trying to go over the top. I know it looked ugly and probably didn't look great, but I think for me it's about making sure I still have that intent to score.
Steve, what can you take from Kusal Mendis' innings, given he was so far above the highest scorer in the match? Was it something that he was doing completely differently to other batters, or was it your bowling at him, or was it a mixture of all?
Yeah, a mixture of everything, I think. It looked like he had a pretty simple game plan against our spinners. At the start of his innings against O'Keefe, if he got too far down leg, you'd sweep him. Other than that, he was sort of playing out in front, using his bat, getting his pad out of the way. And to the off spinner, he looked like he had a pretty simple game plan to sweep whenever we got too straight, and he played that pretty well. I think we had one opportunity where he might have been out LBW, got given not out, and we didn't refer it. We were out of referrals. But I think on a wicket like that, you need some luck as well. But credit to the way he played. I thought he had a game plan and stuck to it throughout, and did a terrific job for a 21-year-old.
You've got to get over the disappointment of yourself being injured, but you've got John Holland coming. I guess you're expecting a very big turn in pitch for the second test. How do you think you go into that match in what's going to be spin against spin? How do you think your spin attack is going to shape up the next one?
Yeah, I think Gauls traditionally the biggest spinning place here in Sri Lanka, or so we've been told. So I think it's going to play a big part again. I think John Holland is a class bowler. He's done pretty well in state cricket, and I think having a left-arm orthodox bowler in these conditions is a must. So he brings that to the table. He's accurate. He hits a good area, and hopefully we can see some of the same as I guess what we saw from Stephen and Rangana with some balls skidding and some balls spinning. It's it's incredibly hard to play against, and I'm looking forward to him getting here and having a couple of days preparation with us.
Do you know him much? Do you know John Holland much as a bloke?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, he and I went to the academy together, so yeah, we know each other reasonably well, and I'm sure he'll fit in well around this group.
Do you think Steve will just be the one change of course, Holland coming in for a or?
I'm not sure, mate. You'll have to ask the selectors that, but we're going to be working hard the next couple of days to make sure we put up a better performance in Gaul.
Steve, just a bit more on John Holland. What challenges is he going to face coming in at this stage? The rest of the guys have been over here for a couple of weeks and got used to the conditions. How hard is it going to be, and what challenges will he face?
I guess there's always challenges when you're playing international cricket, particularly away from home in foreign conditions. So, he's going to have to get a game plan, and then I guess the speeds that he needs to bowl together pretty quickly. We'll be working with him to make sure he gets that in, and I'm really excited for him to come and join us.
Last one, Rainbow.
Even allowing for Ashes and things last year, is this the most disappointing loss you've been involved in, given the preparation you had and the expectation you brought to this series?
Yeah, it is disappointing. I think I said before the game that we haven't played overly well in subcontinent conditions for a while now, and it's something that I guess under my captaincy that I sort of want to change. There were, I guess, glimpses throughout this game that we've improved in some aspects, but I think we just let ourselves down in a lot as well.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Steve.